Q13 News, less learning like this and more days like this for Washington students. With an assignment directly from the governor to local school districts, open your classrooms to students. Thank you for joining us on this busy Friday. I'm Matt Lorch.
And I'm Jamie Tompkins. Governor Inslee says he will sign a proclamation next week that will require every school district in Washington to offer hybrid learning models, including in-person learning. And he says this proclamation will include students from kindergarten all the way through high school.
And it also calls on teachers to work toward devoting a third of their teaching time inside the classroom. As for decisions for your family, every student will still have the option to continue learning remotely full-time if they'd like. We are bringing you team coverage of today's major announcement on the state of local learning.
Let's first get out to Q13's Hannah Kim, who's digging deeper into today's rollout. Hannah?
Yeah, Jamie, today's proclamation by Governor Inslee is legally binding, making it crystal clear where he now stands on teachers coming back. And the requirement isn't just talking about younger students coming back, which has really dominated the conversation until now. As you mentioned, it requires all middle and high schoolers to be given that option by next month. The back and forth negotiations of when students can go back to in-person learning has been a roller coaster ride for many families across the state.
We're not requiring districts to invent a new rocket ship.
Today's order by Governor Inslee is now leaving no room for interpretation for school districts and teachers unions.
So this proclamation is a requirement for the districts to comply with.
The governor's homework comes with deadlines. All kindergarten to 6th grade students must be given an option for in-person learning by April 5th, and all middle and high schoolers by April 19th.
The data is very, very real. It's disproportionate by race and income. The grades are reflecting that. A quarter of our students are not getting credit for one or more classes in high school right now, which puts their graduations in jeopardy.
At least 10 hours a week of live instruction has to happen inside a classroom. The top education leader of the state, Chris Rakedahl, calling the move a moral obligation, and doctors saying it's vital for mental health.
Here at Swedish, we have seen an extraordinary increase in the number of our emergency department and inpatient admissions due to psychiatric and behavioral health issues, a lot of stress, suicidal ideation.
Many school districts won't have problems meeting the timetable, but Rakedahl says 35 districts right now are behind on the federal metrics to reopen in person, including Seattle Public Schools.
For the 35 or so, they're quite a bit away from this goal, and they've got a pretty short time period here to get after it.
I don't believe the Seattle district is going to tell us that somehow the children are so different in Seattle that we could not make this work.
The statewide teachers union, also speaking on behalf of Seattle educators, released a statement which reads in part, the governor's announcement assumes that districts have the ability to provide safe teaching and learning. Some districts are not yet prepared to safely welcome students back to buildings. Local unions are actively bargaining with districts to ensure the return to buildings is as safe as possible. That response now leads to the question, what happens if districts cannot meet the target for next month, or if teachers' unions vote to defy?
They're not going to say that because they can. We know they can because 1,400 other schools have in the state of Washington, and we do not accept them to say that they're not capable of achieving what other schools and districts have done.
More than half of all schools in Washington state are currently offering some type of in-person learning, but Governor Inslee says hundreds of thousands of students still don't have that same access. So we have a lot to cover here and a lot more questions moving forward. Guys, back to you.